Hi everyone, and welcome to my Astro Magic series. This is the final episode, and it's Horary Basics. So Horary literally means of the hour, and this is where you pull a birth chart for a specific question. It's literally like pulling a map for a specific moment in time. And the purpose of doing that is insight into the unknown. It's seeing what's hidden, what's out of reach, or what's real in a situation. Now, Horary astrology shows what's happening now, what has just happened, and also what lies ahead. So it can be used for matters where timing is important. And I would like to stress that in Horary, there is great importance placed on the moon and its movements. In fact, in astrology generally, you'll always hear astrologers talking about the moon. Now, I want to just add a little disclaimer here because this is a real high level technique and it takes years to master. And I am a complete newbie and I do not want to confess to knowing everything about Horary. You know, I've literally only started dabbling in it, but it's just such a cool concept that I had to share it. I had to include it in my Astro Magic series because to me, it is magic. So how does it work? So the mechanics of it is when you pull up a chart, you look at the first house and its ruling planet because that represents you or the person asking the question, the querent. And so, for example, if the chart you pull up is a Leo rising chart, Leo is ruled by the sun. And so the sun in the chart represents you. The quested is the topic. And this is the house related to the question that you're asking. So, for example, if you're asking a question about your boss, you might look to the ruler of the 10th house of career, or you might look to the 6th house of co-workers. If you're asking a question about your partner, then you would look to the 7th house of relationships. If you were looking for a lost item, then you would look to the 2nd house of possessions and so on. When you find the house and you find the ruler, you also look for that planet. So if you're looking for, I don't know, something to do with if you were asking a question about your partner and the 7th house was ruled by Saturn, then Saturn would represent your partner. And if it was a Leo rising chart, the sun would represent you. And then you would look at the relationship between those two planets. So what are the sun and Saturn doing in that chart? What is the connection? And I really like this because it feels like you're a detective looking for clues, like you're Miss Marple or Poirot in Agatha Christie, and you're trying to piece everything together. And yeah, it can be really fun and a really nice way to engage with astrology in a slightly different way. So I would now want to talk to you a little bit about my experience and how I've used it. So I'm going to first of all talk to you about 2 items that were lost. And the reason why I'm starting with lost items is because they're low stakes. Quite often, you know, it's annoying when we lose things, but it's not the end of the world. Most things are replaceable. So it's low stakes, it's highly accessible in the sense that we all lose things. Some people might be more prone to losing and misplacing things than others, but we've all lost something in our lives. And so it's very accessible. You probably already have a list of things that you just can't find at the moment, and you've just kind of given up trying to find them. So you could use it to try and find these items, for example. And it's very practical because you know, it can actually answer a question that you actually need answering. So the first story is about my bank card. I knew that I'd lost it in the house, and I think that's important to clarify. It wasn't just, it could be anywhere. I knew it was in the house. I just looked high and low, and I was really reticent to cancel my card because we all use our digital online banking. We have our card attached to so many things, and the hassle of having to switch that all over to the new card, I just thought I just don't want to do this. And also I have this weird thing of like learning my bank card number off by heart. It doesn't take me long to do it, but then I strangely get weirdly attached to my bank card number. Don't ask. So I'd frozen the card and I was like, okay, before I finally hit replace in the bank app, let me try and pull up this chart and see if I can actually find it. So I pulled the chart up and it was a Libra rising. I think it was Venus in the 9th house, which represented me, but I was more interested in actually like, where do I think this lost item is? So the 2nd house is our possessions, but also because it's a bank card, the second house also rules money and finances. So I was like very confident that it was the second house ruler that I was looking for. Now, in this case, it happened to be Scorpio was ruled in the second house. So that was Mars. I looked for Mars in the chart and it was in Virgo in the 12th house. And incidentally, the moon was also in Virgo in the 12th house. And when I first saw that, I'll be honest, and I did think, I'm probably not going to find it then, because the 12th house is like unseen, hidden, not really given much, it's like secret enemies. And it's like, am I really going to find this? So anyway, because it was in Virgo, an earth sign, from the little bit of research that I had done, I thought, okay, it's probably going to be near the ground or buried. And also the 12th house does represent our dreams and sleep. And so I did actually find my bank card underneath my bed. So it was on the floor and it was near, where I dream and where I sleep. And so that was very validating, but also just like, oh, this is exciting. Like I can actually just throw up a chart and find things. This is something I really want to do a bit more of. And so I decided to do it again when I couldn't find, I'd specifically put some medication, like a tablet, in a special place, so somewhere safe. I didn't want to lose it. It wasn't with anything else. It didn't have its own box or anything. And so I did the classic ADHD thing of putting it somewhere safe and then forgetting where. We've all been there. So I was like, where is this safe place that I put it? And I thought, okay, let me pull up the chart. Maybe this is going to help. So I pulled the chart up and it was a Gemini rising chart. And again, I looked for the second house ruler. And this was the moon, because it was Cancer. Cancer was all in the second house. And so I looked for the moon, which is in the 7th house of Sagittarius. And so I thought, okay, I'm just going to start with the fact it's in the 7th house. That rules relationships, it rules partners and marriage. I wonder if I inadvertently gave it to my husband to keep safe. Unlikely. I looked on his side of the bed. I just couldn't find it anywhere. And I was just like, I can't do horary, obviously, because I can't even interpret this chart very well. I haven't been able to find it. So I forgot about it. And a few days later, I remembered that I'd actually messaged myself, the classic autism. I'd messaged myself where it was. And so I actually found it a few days later, not through the chart, but just by remembering. And look, it was inside my engagement ring box. So the 7th house was correct. I just didn't think outside of the box, literally. And when I found it there, I was just like, astrology. It's just, you gotta laugh. So it did work, even though I wasn't able to kind of work it myself. And so I've done a few other kind of horary charts just to see what it shows. And so I was able to correctly predict passing my Prince 2 project management exams. And the chart said yes, and I did. I also, after a job interview, pulled up a chart to see I would, whether it could tell me if I'd get it or not. And it did show me being unsuccessful. And I didn't actually get the job, but it was a blessing in disguise. And it's weird because the chart actually showed that it was kind of like a blessing in disguise as well. So you can go really deep with the chart as well once you start getting past the basics. Now, like I said, I have definitely oversimplified horary here, and there's lots more that you can look at, such as mentioned before, the overall condition of the moon, but also whether the planets are applying, coming towards each other, or separating, moving away, as this could mean this is for you or it's passed you by, for example. So now, if you are interested in having a go yourself, having a bit of fun, seeing if you can kind of work things out, then I've done a little guide for you. And essentially, the first thing you need to do is do a little bit of research. You're going to need to know about the basics. You're going to have to pull up some resources. I think Kelly Surtees's article is really well written. It's very simple, easy to access, and it really covers all the basics. So I'll drop the link to that as well so you can have a look at it. Start small, use a very low stakes question. Don't have too much on it. It should be something that it doesn't matter if I know the answer or not, rather than you're desperate to, because I think you want to have fun with this and you want to have no pressure on it. Use the Time Passages app, which I've mentioned before, which to help pull up the chart, or you can use AstroSeek. You just need something where you can pull the chart up and read it. Like I said, really important, the moon. Check its sign. Is it happy in that sign? Check the house it's in. Is it happy in that house? Any aspects being made to it? Are they difficult? Are they challenging? Do they promote ease and harmony? Is the moon void? Is it wandering aimlessly before it moves into the next sign? All of these things are going to have an effect on the general vibe of the chart and will relate to whatever you're asking. Again, you need to locate the chart ruler. So if it's a Leo rising, where's the sun? And then if, for example, you're looking for something lost, then you need to find the sign on the second house and look at its ruler. So if it's Capricorn, the ruler is Saturn. If it's Cancer, it's the moon, and so on and so forth. I've mentioned before about the elements. So earth signs might direct you to ground level, something hidden, something buried. Air would be up high or near computers or technology. A water sign might be plumbing, pipes, bathrooms, running water. Fire signs, it might be near different heat sources, or it might be in really well-lit areas where there's lots of light, for example. And you can also do a quick yes-no check. Are the planets applying? Probably a yes, might be yet to happen. Are they separating? That moment has already passed, or it's going to be delayed, or it's an outright no. Final advice, keep it light. Don't start with heavy or emotive topics while learning. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to just be a little bit of magic and yeah, just have fun with it. So if you're interested, download my Horary Basics worksheet, which kind of runs you through everything. And please get in touch and let me know if you're able to find the lost thing or answer that question, that burning question you've had using this technique. Until next time, take care.